Having been a fan of architecture for a number of years, I've been very interested in experimenting with lower tunings. I've previously tried an 8-string for F sharp and drop E tunings, but felt it wasn't exactly for me. I'm not necessarily creating intricate and complex pieces of music, which an 8-string is generally geared towards. I have tried baritones on and off for a number of years and felt like this was the way for me to go. Up until recently, the market for guitars with a scale length longer than 25.5 inches has been very limited, especially in the UK. The most readily available baritone guitar would be the Ibanez RGI V6, which is a great guitar at a very competitive price point, but it had a couple of features that I wasn't exactly interested in. I didn't want active pickups, even though they perform extremely well in low-tuned, high-gain applications. I also didn't want a rosewood fretboard, as my preference is generally towards ebony, and I didn't want a basswood body. It should be noted that Ibanez are about to release the RGI XL7, which has an ash body, an ebony fretboard, passive pickups. Even though it's a 7-string, it has a 27-inch scale length. I can see this being the go-to baritone scale length 7-string for many people for as long as the guitar's in production. I'm actually considering one myself for drop G. Personally, 25.5 inches is my preferred scale length for 7 strings, as I'm generally playing in standard B or drop A tuning. A friend of mine has the Mayonnaise John Brown Cat C baritone 7-string model, and while it's tonally a fantastic guitar with an unquestionably modern sound, I felt that it wasn't exactly suitable to my playing style and writing style. I would kill to try out the 25.5-inch scale version though. I wanted a baritone scale 6-string guitar with specs similar to my Mayonnaise guitars, but I didn't want to pay Mayonnaise prices. The main purpose of this guitar is to experiment with alternate tunings, and I couldn't justify the expense of something like a Mayonnaise for that purpose. The Chapman ML1 Baritone was the guitar I chose to go with. I settled on the F sharp octave tuning, which is standard tuning, tuned down 3 half steps and with the bottom string tuned to F sharp. The main reason was so that I'm essentially forced to write material that I couldn't necessarily play on my 6 or 7 string. I wanted to make sure that the riffs and the songs that I wrote didn't just sound like everything else I was playing but tuned lower. But I did set off everything sounding like an Architect ripoff. The Chapman ML1 Baritone has an older body with a gloss finished ash veneer. The neck is maple with an ebony fretboard. The pickups are Chapman Sonorous Zero Baritone Alnico 5 humbuckers. They're controlled by a freeway switch, a volume knob, and a tone control that doubles as a coil split push-pull. Other hardware includes the Chapman fixed bridge and Chapman locking tuners. The guitar comes tuned to B standard with only ball 12 to 60 strings. On the day I purchased the guitar, I switched them out for Diodario 11 to 56. I switched the 56 out for a 74 and the plain steel 19 for a wound 18. Initially, I was very impressed with the quality of this guitar. The fret ends are great, the intonation's fantastic, and the overall setup was very good. It's easy to see why Chapman has increased in popularity so much in the last few years. A YouTube personality alone isn't enough to sell a product this way. It's also very reliant on people going out, trying out these guitars and spreading positive word of mouth. It should be noted that ESP Ltd, Schecter, Strandberg and Ormsby all have their guitars produced in the same factory, so the quality on display really shouldn't come as a surprise. Comfort may actually be the defining factor of this guitar. Being a 28-inch baritone, there are going to be people that feel intimidated by it, perhaps feel that their hands are too small. The neck profile, fretboard radius and neck joint really do make this a joy to play, and it took me next to no time to get used to the longer scale length. After a few months of ownership and putting it through its paces, I'm really glad that I added it to my arsenal. From a playability standpoint, I found it to hold up pretty well in a guitar rack alongside two Mayonnais's, which are very high-end custom instruments. I mean, one of these guitars can retail for 5 times the price of the Chapman Baritone. I also have a video on my channel comparing it to a custom Ran Crusher 6, and I like to think I showed how well a guitar like this holds up against a guitar like that. I can easily pick up my Regis 7, play the baritone, pick up the Duval 6 for a little bit, and then back to the baritone. The quality and ease of use of this guitar has been outstanding. I'm still very fond of the pickups too. Sometimes stock pickups can seem better than they actually are because of the honeymoon period of new guitar ownership. The only aspect of these pickups I think could do with a beneficial change would be the output. If there were a higher output, I wouldn't have to worry about boosting the guitar as much, either with the Axfex's Tube Screamer or the Horizon Devices Precision Drive. At some point, I'll likely switch the pickups out for a Seymour Duncan Nazgul Sentient, just so tonally it fits in even more with my other two guitars. But I have been enjoying an Alnico bridge pickup, so there's a possibility of that actually being a Pegasus in Sentience. However, like I've been saying, these pickups are more than serviceable, and I don't feel like there's any need to rush to change them. I'm currently working on putting out more video content. Not all of it's going to be demos or reviews. Some of it's just going to be general playthroughs of some of the stuff I've been working on and writing. The Chapman ML1 Baritone is going to serve me very well when putting out videos of this nature.